Hello, I'm Justin Porter, and today's date is the 28th of September 2021, and welcome to my channel, Justin Porter XJW, and the title of this video is called Hellfire and Shunning. Now, in the New Testament, majority of Christians realize that the New Testament talks about hellfire, burning in hell. Now, most Christians don't really mention this and say it's not really hellfire. It's just a separation from God. But it's a punishment for those who don't believe in Jesus. It's really interesting. Jesus says in Matthew 5:22, anyone who calls his brother a despicable fool is liable to the fiery hell. Now, so a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in the hellfire doctrine, and a lot of Christians don't believe in the hellfire doctrine because it's pretty sadistic and pretty unjust that a God of love would burn someone for eternity for the sins of this life. Now, the fact is that the hellfire doctrine is in the New Testament, and you have in Luke chapter 16 about the rich man and Lazarus. If you read Luke chapter 16, you'll find out about the rich man and Lazarus. Now, the Bible, I have to really say the New Testament does teach hellfire. Now, I don't believe in the Bible. I believe that this is such a contradiction to the Old Testament, because if you read in the Old Testament, in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5, it says, the living are conscious that they will die, but the dead are conscious of nothing at all. Or in other words, some Bibles say the living know they're going to die, but the dead do not know anything. So if you read in the New Testament, it does mention hellfire a number of times. Even in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, it says they'll be tormented day and night forever, and the smoke of their torment will ascend forever. And that is in the New Testament. Now, a lot of Christians say that's horrendous. Oh, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. So it's Christian apologetics. So whenever there's something grotesque or unjust in the Bible about God, a lot of Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses say, oh no, it doesn't mean what it says. It couldn't mean what it says. God wouldn't torment people for eternity in a hellfire. Now, I don't believe in a God. I'm an atheist. But I do realize that this book, the New Testament, this book called the New Testament in the Bible does teach hellfire. I don't believe there is a place called hell. I don't believe there's a God. And it's certainly not the God of the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But I do know the New Testament does teach hellfire. Now, where the Old Testament, in utter contradiction, the Old Testament, it says that man is a living soul. When people die, they cease to exist. They go back to the dust. All throughout the Old Testament, it says that earthling man lies down and does not get up. Till heaven is no more, they will not be aroused from their sleep. Now, so the Old Testament teaches that you are completely dead when you die. When you die, you are completely dead, and the hope for the dead is a resurrection. The New Testament is one big contradiction to the Old Testament. So the New Testament and the Old Testament contradict each other. This is the biggest, most glaring contradiction in the Bible. Now, I believe that the God of the Bible was invented by ancient men, ancient people, and God was invented to explain life, to explain the volcano. The volcano erupts. God must be angry with us. There's an earthquake. God is angry with us. There must be sinning. We lost a war. God's angry with us. We lost the war because we must have sinned. So when people didn't understand why things happened, they would just say, God did it. It's because of God's angry or God's happy. And the hellfire doctrine in the New Testament, I believe, was created by the Romans. Look up the video, Caesar's Messiah. The Romans invented the Jesus character, who was copied from Mithra, the Roman resurrection god, who was copied from Osiris, the Egyptian resurrection god, to control people, to control the masses, and to pacify the people. And the hellfire doctrine was put there to install fear and control. So the religious leaders said, if you obey us, follow us because we're God's channel, God's using us, we will give us your money, be submissive to us, and we will get you to heaven. We'll get you to the good place. So hellfire doctrine was invented by man to control people, where the Old Testament doesn't teach hellfire at all, but the New Testament does. It was invented to install fear and to control the masses. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in a hellfire, but they have another hellfire, and it's called shunning. Now, this shunning, like the hellfire doctrine, this shunning is used to control Jehovah's Witnesses. So if they ever step out of line, or if they ever question the governing body, so if they ever question the leaders of Jehovah's Witnesses, who are these 8 guys in New York City, Stephen Lett, Tony Morris, Kenneth Cook, David Splain, Mark Sanderson, Samuel Hurd, Jared Losk, I don't know if I've missed any of the 8, and of course Jeffrey Jackson. If you question their teachings, if you question their authority, you will lose your family and your friends through the shunning policy. So the shunning policy of Jehovah's Witnesses corresponds to the hellfire doctrine. It is a weapon of control and a weapon of fear. So you obey what we say, or you will lose your family. They will shun you. So shunning is a weapon like hellfire is a weapon. Hellfire is a weapon to control people, and the Jehovah's Witness shunning is a weapon. And if you watch the Four Corners program, Four Corners did a brilliant documentary on Jehovah's Witnesses. If you watch the Four Corners documentary on Jehovah's Witnesses here in Australia, there was lots of cases of people who've been shunned. And one young man was gay, he was born into the Jehovah's Witness religion, brought up a Jehovah's Witness. From the minute he was born, he was taught that being gay is a sin. And when he became a young man, he would fight these homosexual tendencies, and he did succumb to his homosexual tendencies, and he was disfellowshipped and shunned by his family. And his uncle is Stephen Lett of the governing body, and even his sister shunned him for being homosexual. So he was shunned for being homosexual, and he committed suicide because of the shunning. So he committed suicide from the shunning because he was born gay. He had the gay gene. people are born gay. They don't choose to be gay. And he was shunned by his sister, by his family, by his entire community. He was shunned and he committed suicide. And Stephen Lett had the audacity at the 2020 convention, Be Courageous, it was the 2020 convention, Be Courageous convention, where he said that in the resurrection, when ones get resurrected, they will have to learn Jehovah's ways in the resurrection, and they'll have to live up to Jehovah's standards when they get brought back to life. And they will have to realise that things like homosexuality is not okay in God's eyes, and they will have to change when they get brought back to life. And if they don't change, they will find out that they'll have to die again. And so Stephen Lett's own nephew committed suicide because of being shunned. And Stephen Lett, shame on you, governing body member, giving that a talk at the Be Courageous 2020 convention, saying something like that when you knew damn well that your nephew committed suicide because he was being shunned for being gay. And that is absolutely tragic. The shunning policy of Jehovah's Witnesses has to stop. It is a violation of human rights. Your child should be able to choose whatever religion they wish. If your child is born gay, embrace them. Don't shun them because they're born gay or born lesbian. If I had a son or daughter, I don't have children, if I had a son and daughter who was a lesbian or a homosexual, I would go to their wedding and I would never put them down, because if they love someone of the same gender, let them be, because that's who they are. And I'm 100% happy that Australia has legalised gay marriage. Good on Australia for legalising gay marriage. So Jehovah's Witnesses have a lot to answer for. And there's so many things in the Bible that a lot of Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses say, oh, it mustn't mean what the words say in the Bible. For instance, have you heard the story of Jephthah's daughter? Now, Jephthah had a daughter, right? Now, Jephthah prayed to Jehovah that if the Amalekites were given into his hand, in other words, God, if you let me win the war with the Amalekites, in other words, if you let me genocide the Amalekite nation, the Amalekites, I will give you whoever comes out of my front door as a burnt offering. So if you give me the Amalekites into my hand in a war so I can beat them and genocide them, whoever comes out of my house, I will offer up as a burnt offering. In other words, I'll burn them alive to you, God, as a sacrifice. Who was to come? So God went ahead. God made Jephthah win the war. So Jephthah, he genocided the Amalekites. And who was the first one to come out of Jephthah's door? It was his daughter. It was his daughter. Now, I don't know about other Christians, but Jehovah's Witnesses say, oh, Jephthah wouldn't have burned his daughter alive as a sacrifice, as a burnt offering. It says down on paper, I will offer up whoever comes out of my door as a burnt offering. And even Jephthah's daughter said, look, whatever you vow to God, you pay. You pay whatever you vow to God. So he went ahead with it and offered up his daughter as a burnt sacrifice to Jehovah. Now, the daughters of Israel lamented her and grieved over her. And a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I don't know about Christians, say that, oh, no, she was dedicated to temple service to Jehovah. So in other words, she became like a nun in a temple for the rest of her life. So she dedicated her life to Jehovah God as a nun kind of thing. And Jephthah wouldn't have burned his daughter alive. Now think of this. If Jehovah said to Isaac, go get your son and offer him up as a sacrifice. Grab a knife, put your son on the altar and offer him as a sacrifice. A God that would do that would definitely say, well, go on, you said you're going to burn your daughter. See how much you love me. And why would he grieve so much? Why would he get so upset he was going to lose his daughter to fire? If his daughter was just going to be a nun in a temple to Jehovah, you wouldn't have been upset. If you've got a daughter and she's going to be a nun, well, you don't really have to worry about her. Well, I don't know about those priests. Maybe you have to worry about her with the priests. So the Bible says that he offered up his daughter as a burnt offering. Didn't say he offered her up as a nun in a temple service, no. So what the Bible says, it says in ink, on paper, on papyrus, on stone. So they call that Christian apologetics. So Christian apologetics is like saying, oh, God really wouldn't burn someone in a hellfire. Well, the Bible says, your smoke of their torment will ascend forever. The rich man and Lazarus. Rich man was burning in the fires of Hades and said, put some water on my tip of my tongue because of this heat and read Luke 16. So what the Bible says, it says, but a lot of people say, because the Bible says such horrible things, the Bible says such abhorrent things, horrible things the Bible says. People say, oh, those words really don't mean what they say on paper. See, most religious leaders, they just teach the good bits of the Bible. They just teach the good bits and they skip over the horrible bits of the Bible, like Jephthah offering up his daughter as a burnt sacrifice to Jehovah. And then Jehovah's Witnesses and other Christians saying, oh no, she just became a nun in a temple. Well, if that was the case, why did Jephthah grieve, and why did the daughters of Israel lament her and grieve over her if she just become a nun? You know, if you've got a friend and you're going to become a nun, you're not going to grieve over her or lament over her like, Jephthah did. Why did he grieve so much over his daughter if she just became a nun? You see? So Jehovah's Witnesses teach her as a nun. So when there's horrible things in the Bible, which is there's so many horrible things in the Bible, it's a horrible book. I think they should call the Bible the vile bull. Vile, because it is a vile book full of, homosexuals stoned to death, adultery stoned to death, disobedient child stoned to death. In Exodus chapter 6, verse 3, a man picking up sticks on the Sabbath, he gets stoned to death. Picking up sticks on the Sabbath, Moses sees, and the Israelites say, hey, Moses, this man was picking up sticks on the Sabbath. What should we do? Ask God. God says, stone him to death. Picking up sticks on the Sabbath. Uzi, when the Israelites are carrying the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark is a covenant on these sticks that they carried through Israel, the cattle caused an upset. And the Ark was going to tip over. So Uzi, he reached out to touch the Ark to steady the Ark so it wouldn't fall over. And Jehovah chucked a hissy fit and zapped him dead for touching the Ark, because the cattle caused an upset and it was going to tip over. So Uzi went to stabilise the Ark and he got struck dead by Jehovah God. So, a very bad-tempered God, a very jealous God, a very bad-tempered God, a very homophobic God, a very male chauvinist God. Women are to keep silent in the congregation. They're not to teach men. Women are to be submissive to their husbands. So God is a male chauvinist. He's a jealous God. He's a genocidal God. So the hellfire doctrine and the shunning policy of Jehovah's Witnesses and the hellfire teaching is a fear tactic. It is a fear tactic to keep people in line. Do what we say, believe what we say, put the money in the plate, give us your money, serve God, will basically serve the religious leaders, and we'll get you to the good place and you can forget about the bad place. But if you don't be submissive to us, if you don't do what we say, if you don't put money in the plate, you're going to burn or turn. So that's the title of my video, Hellfire and the Shunning Policy. And I have been shunned for 3 years. Had experience today. I saw my very best friend, my very best Jehovah's Witness friend, and I saw him from a distance and at the shopping centre. I saw him from a distance, and last time I said hello to him, he shunned me. And I said, I love you, brother, and you're always welcome to come around and visit. And we shouldn't let religion separate us. We shouldn't let religion come between us, because we're friends. And if we have different beliefs, it doesn't matter. Still friends. You can still be friends with people who believe in different things. You can still be good friends with people who have different religious beliefs than you. You know, there's nothing wrong with the differences. We should embrace people's differences. The differences between people shouldn't separate them. And he shunned me, and that was a few months ago. So when I saw him today, I knew he would shun me, so I just looked at him at a distance. He didn't see me. And I thought to myself, I'll take that Bible verse to heart. And the Bible verse says, there is a time to give up as lost. There's a time to seek, there's a time to find, and there is a time to give up as lost. So I've come to realise that I'm not going to change Jehovah's Witnesses. My wife, my beautiful wife Nicole, is still a Jehovah's Witness, and she's in a Zoom meeting in the bedroom next door. She's in a Zoom meeting. After the Zoom meeting, she'll talk to all the Jehovah's Witnesses and socialise with them. But if I was to walk into that room with the Zoom meeting on, and I put my face in the screen and say, hello everyone, good to see you all, how are you been? They would all shun me. Because if they don't shun me, they will be shunned. If they get caught talking to me, that is a disfellowshipping offence. So if you're Jehovah's Witness and you get caught talking to a disfellowshipped person who's not your son, daughter, mother, father, if your son, daughter, mother, father, sister, brother lives in the same house as you, you don't have to shun them. But if they don't live in the same household as you, you are expected to shun your mother, your father, your sister, your daughter, your brother, your sister, if they no longer believe in the Jehovah's Witness religion. So the shunning policy and the hellfire doctrine are weapons to keep people in fear and to control people. And that's all I want to say. I'm Justin Porter. Welcome to my channel. I think this is my 74th or 75th video. But thank you very much, and bye now, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell for future videos. And I'm Justin Porter, and you may applaud. Bye.